Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This short video describes the winter storm that is expected to impact the Louisville community Sunday morning into Monday midday, as well as general instructions and advice for those that will be impacted. Inshallah, this video is primarily in English, but alhamdulillah, we will have brief translations in Arabic, French, and Somali. For the Louisville Muslim community, we are expecting a winter storm, a blizzard, to arrive Sunday morning and lasting until Monday midday. It should arrive anywhere between 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., so around Fajr time. What is expected to come with the storm? Moderate winds, snow that will accumulate, that will build up to anywhere between 6 to 10 inches. In some local areas may get anywhere between 12 to 16 inches. On top of that, anywhere between a quarter inch to an inch plus of ice. What does this mean? This means that we are expecting very serious travel impacts, as well as potential widespread power outages. The travel impacts are going to be caused because of the snow and the ice. Especially for a storm that's lasting this long, even when the city, the local government, they lay out the salt will slowly melt the snow and ice. But then on top of that, even more snow and ice is falling. This will make travel very dangerous, whether you are in driving on a neighborhood street, in a parking lot, or even a highway. Understand that the city is going to prioritize where they lay the salt and where they're plowing. Highways, they're going to always keep an eye on the highways. Major roads like Bardstown Road, Westport Road, Brownsboro Road, Broadway, Dixie Highway, they're going to that's next on their priority. If you live in a neighborhood or subdivision, the city is not going to be as concerned with plowing, with driving the snow off the road. If you live in a subdivision, some subdivisions may hire private plow trucks. That's a case-by-case situation. Obviously, on your private property, if you own a house, you are responsible for salting and clearing your own driveway and your own sidewalk. This also includes the Masjid. The Masjid are going to be treated like private property. The Masjid and community members will be responsible for salting sidewalks and parking lots. The ice in particular will cause an issue in which the ice will freeze on trees and will freeze on power lines. If they get heavy enough, we will start to see trees falling and power lines breaking and falling onto the ground. Under, no circumstance should you approach a fallen power line. Fallen power lines should be treated like they're live, like electricity is running through them. Do not approach, do not touch them. For fallen trees, you need to be extremely careful because some trees, when they fall, they may bring down power lines with them. So power lines are going to be tangled in the branches. Once again, those power lines may be live. Electricity may be running through them. Do not approach, do not pick up those trees with power lines tangled up in them. You should call 911, give them your address, report that a tree has fallen, that power line has fallen. Understand two things when it comes to interacting with emergency services. This is going to be a citywide impact. You may be waiting on 911 for long periods of time. Do not hang up if you're on hold. Just wait your turn for them to get your call, answer your call, and you give them the important information. And also understand that they are expecting, but inshallah it doesn't happen, they are expecting citywide power outages. That means that LG&E and the local government, it's going to take them time to turn power on for neighborhoods across the city. You need to understand that that will likely happen. You need to expect it, and you need to plan accordingly. Now, for the general person, for the general Muslim in our community, if you have to go out on the roads, you need to drive carefully. You need to drive slowly. Most vehicles, the tires do not have the tread to drive on the snow and on the ice. So you need to understand, drive slowly, drive carefully, and better yet, do not go on the roads unless you need to. Whether it's during the storm or after the storm. During the storm, the wind and the heavy snow will make it to where it's very blinding. You won't be able to see that well in front of you when you're driving. So you need to understand that. Go slowly, go carefully. Do not go out unless there's a need. After the storm has come through, expect for the next couple of days that the roads are going to be very rough to drive on. Once again, don't go out unless there's a need. And if you go out, drive very carefully, drive slowly. Now, you're living in an apartment or a house, you should run your faucets to just drip, especially faucets that are on the outside areas of the house. What I mean by that is the faucet is in the house, but it's on an outside wall. You should turn them on to where they're just dripping. This will help reduce the chance that water is freezing in your pipes and, God forbid, bursting. If you live in a house, typically your water line, your main water line, has a branch that feeds faucets on the outside of your house. So for example, if you have like a water hose, if you garden, you should turn off that outside connection. Typically it's known as a silcock, SILCOCK. Turn that off. That will also help reduce the chance of your pipes freezing and bursting. In your house, the bathrooms, the kitchen, open the vanities, open the cabinets below the sinks. That way, heat from your house gets in there, keeps the pipes warm. If you live in an older house, especially a house with copper pipes, you need to be particularly careful. Copper pipes are more likely than PVC pipes to have the water inside freeze and burst. It's going to be a very expensive fix, and it will affect access to water. If you own a house, I also recommend that you put down salt, especially a house with a garage. I should have been more specific. A house with a garage where the garage door goes and meets the driveway, you'll want to salt where the garage door and the driveway meet. You'll want to salt that. That will prevent the garage door from freezing in place. If you live in a neighborhood or subdivision and you park outside, you need to park up on the grass. Why is that? Because if a plow truck is trying to come through to clear your street, if you're parking on the street and just making it difficult for a truck to pass through, they're not going to even waste their time trying to pass through. They'll just, okay, we'll leave that street, that part of the road unplowed. Park up on the grass, park off of the road, give access to the plow trucks that will want to come through to clear your street. I make dua that we don't suffer citywide power outages. They are forecasting that this is a very real possibility. If power goes out in your house for even a day, but maybe more than a day, be very careful of what ways you are using to try to heat up your house. For example, if you have a generator and you're plugging plugs in there, be careful of that plug and the cord overheating, especially if you're putting carpets to hide the power cord. You may risk fires being started that way because that cord is heating up, the carpet's on top of it, and over time that carpet heats up to where it may catch fire. Do not use your car as a source of heat. Especially, you close that car in a garage, you're turning the car on, and you're trying to use that to kind of generate heat in case your house, the electricity is out. Do not use your car like that. Your car is going to release that exhaust, that gas. That gas has carbon monoxide. That carbon monoxide will kill you. Be very careful of the methods that you use to try to heat up your house, or you try to generate electricity if your power goes out. I ask Allah to let the snowstorm fall around us and not upon us. And I ask Allah to protect us from all harm. Ameen. Be careful. Be smart about how you respond to the situation around you. Here in Louisville, we haven't had a big snowstorm in years, maybe even decades. And so people, they're kind of lulled into a sense of, well, it's not going to be as bad as they say. Inshallah. I mean, we all have that hope. But we're people of the middle path, right? So we're not completely dismissive and lazy on one extreme, but we're not paranoid and, we say in English, like the sky is falling down. We're not, we take the middle path. The forecast looks bad. And it's looking worse as we get closer, because right now this winter storm is over places like Kansas and Missouri. The forecast is looking bad because it's bad over there as it comes here. We're people of the middle path. Don't be completely dismissive, but don't be completely paranoid. I'll end there. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us. This video will be uploaded on the Louisville Muhsineen YouTube channel. Essentially, this video came together by members of the Louisville Muhsineen. I want to particularly thank a couple of the members, Brother Abdurahman for the Somali translation, Brother Ward and Ammar for assisting me with the Arabic translation, and I also want to thank Pape Gueye with the LAICC Senegambian Masjid for providing the French translation. The translations will run after this. It'll run for a minute or two just so that whoever needs the translations can kind of pause it on the translations and read them. But otherwise, I ask Allah to protect each and every one of you, each of our community members, the elders and the young, the brothers and the sisters. One last thing, Alhamdulillah, most of the Masjid should have salt to pour on their sidewalks. Alhamdulillah, a lot of the members of the Muhsineen came together to check on masajids, including 6 Mile, Aikal, Hira, the Bosnian Masjid, Senegambian Masjid, as well as Masjid al-Nur and Masjid Bilal. Either they got the salt or they checked to make sure, hey, do you guys have the salt to put on your sidewalks? Alhamdulillah, we are happy to do whatever we can to prepare our community members. Our concern is with the community, and we take that very seriously. Barakallah feekum. Please do your part now to share this with family and friends. Some people know about this already. Some people, this is completely new to them, the situation. Do not be the one to sit on your hands and say, oh, the next person will share it. It's better that this is being shared by so many people than for everybody to sit on their hands and say, well, the next person, the next person, the next person, and it's never actually shared. A lot of members in our community, they either have come from places where this is not the norm, or even, they come from parts of the United States where, once again, this is not normal. They don't have experience with it. So a little education goes a long way. Jazakallah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum.
السلام عليكم. ستتلج صباح الأحد إلى صباح الاثنين. ستحمل العاصفة ما بين 6 و10 بوصات من الثلج والجليد. ضع الأملاح على رصيفك وشارعك. افتح صنابير الماء في الليل رجاء.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Chers compatriotes de Louisville, Kentucky, ceci est un message d'annonce publique. Les services météorologiques de Louisville, Kentucky annoncent une tempête hivernale à partir de ce dimanche jusqu'à lundi midi, pouvant entraîner des accumulations comprises entre 7 cm et 25 cm de neige, accompagnées de verglas qui peuvent aller jusqu'à 30 cm dans certains endroits. Nous vous prions de rester très vigilants dans ces conditions. Essayez et évitez de sortir si ce n'est pas nécessaire. Prenez vos précautions en mettant du sel à l'entrée de vos maisons, des trottoirs, des garages et des arrière-cours. Nous vous prions aussi de vous éloigner des arbres qui sont tombés et des fils électriques qui peuvent entraîner des dangers pour vous et vos familles. Aussi, si possible, ouvrez les robinets à petit pour permettre des filets d'eau afin d'éviter que les canalisations ne se gèlent. Et surtout aussi, ouvrez les placards pour permettre l'air chaud de circuler dans les canalisations à l'intérieur de vos maisons. Utilisez aussi des pelles à neige pour dégager la neige devant vos maisons et vos garages. Donc, nous vous prions de rester très vigilants en conduisant. Évitez les vitesses excessives. Soyez très prudents. Nous vous souhaitons de rester à l'abri et que ça puisse passer dans les meilleures conditions. Donc, voilà. Et je vous prie de rester très vigilants. Nous ne pouvons pas le dire assez. Merci beaucoup et bonne journée.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. والله أحد iyo isniinta magaaladeena waxaa kasoo socda baraf aad u xoogan wuxuu gaarayaa barafkaasi 4 ilaa 10 inches. fadlan ka taxadir xaafadaadii ku shub cusbo sidaan dhulka sumxoosho ugu sumxoonin baabuurkana si taxadir leh u wad aan habeenkii intaadan saaxanin tubada aayar biyaha u fur sidii tubada u socdaan waayo tubada hadhow way jabi doontaa insha Allah inta ka jabin tubada aayarka biyaha yar fur marka si taxadir lahaa. Assalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatuh.